Jensen. What are you doing here?
I think you know why I'm here, Tyndall. I want Corella's security footage back.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm Sarif Industries' chief of security. I'm pretty sure I can find out about an edited security tape, so don't bullshit me.
Ah, shit. Listen, Jensen, I never wanted things to get this bad. I'm not a bad guy. I feel for Corella, I really do. But sometimes, for a good cause, you have to get your hands dirty.
Oh, there's a good cause now?
Oh, I see. You think I'm selling the stuff, right? I understand why this would seem like an obvious motive, especially to an ex-cop. But trust me, you shouldn't always take things at face value. I'm not selling the neuropozyne, I'm giving it away.
Giving it away? To who?
To the people who need it. You think everyone gets augmented by choice? No. Shit happens. And then what? You're saddled with neuropozyne injections for the rest of your life, and that shit costs money. But what choice do you have? Without the drug, you'll die. Rejection syndrome, crippling pain. That just ain't right. So I did the only decent thing to do. I stepped up.
I can respect that. But blackmail is still blackmail. Corella wants out, and I'm here to make sure he gets out.
Man, this whole thing is becoming way too much trouble. I've even got 2 local pushers on my back because they say my philanthropic actions are undercutting their profit.
That's not your only problem. A gun-toting client was waiting for you in your apartment earlier.
Really? In my apartment? Shit, the dealers probably sent him. Tell you what, I'll deal with the client later. You take care of the dealers, and the footage is yours.
Okay, I'll help you out. But you better not be playing me.
You give me way too much credit, Jensen. I'm a security tech, not a hardened mobster. The 2 pushers go by the name PG and BK. They hang out in the alley near the basketball court. Just make sure they never bother me again.
Deal.
So this is the basketball. It's the
famous basketball
the
court.
famous basketball court.
My favorite.
it's an homage to the original Deus Ex, but for us it was not necessarily something that we would do by default. Like we didn't have the physics for that. We didn't have like all the things we needed. And on top of that, some people in the team, they were like, why spending time doing this?
Yeah, what's the point?
What's the point? And that's the thing. One of our writer, Taras Taziuk, was coming to me like almost every single day. I want the basketball in there. I want the basketball
And
in
he
there.
came to me. He came to me too, and I said, we got the baseball in for Sarif, so hush."
And then eventually with T-Bone, I managed to push him to create the ball, and then.
And the thing is, I'm actually the one who wanted with my little artist to actually make sure we have a freaking basketball in there, not the whole court, but just the basketball hoop, and even the ball was not sure, but at least just the hoop itself to have that clin d'oeil, that just little tease from 261, and but the physics on the ball, man, it created nightmares on programmer side, and they really hated me on this. But, yeah.
But we fought. You fought.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's just a small example for things that seem very mundane in the game. Sometimes it's a big challenge, or you have to mobilize a lot of people to make this happen.
Especially when it was possible to do it in 1999.
Especially, as crazy as it sounds.
You an ex-banger? You got the look. Maybe you know the Big Ant. He's been busting DRB heads for years.
Look at you, man. Another sucker who bought a bunch of crap you never really needed.
Look, I told you. If you want me to give you that security footage, you're going to have to get those pushers off my ass first.
I've taken care of the dealers. Now hand over the footage.
Thanks, Jensen. Listen, I know it's not something you did from the bottom of your heart, but still, you saved my ass. Here's your footage.
Listen, Tyndall, I know you're trying to do the right thing. But we have to do things by the book, or we'll just have chaos. I'll put you in contact with someone inside Seraph Industries. They may be able to get you neuropozyne for those who need it.
Seriously? You'd really do that? Wow. I never would have expected this from you, Jensen. I really appreciate this. Tell Corell I'm sorry.
Did you get it yet? Adam, please. You have to get that security footage back.
I got the footage. You owe me one, Tim.
Yeah, you got that right, Jensen. I mean, thank you so much. This is my life I just got back. Listen, I got a hold of a weapon mod. It's not much, but I figured a guy in your line of work could use it.
Listen, I know you were trying to do a good thing, and I respect that. But you should do it through proper channels. Next time you might not get this lucky.
Yeah, you're right, Adam. I know you're right. Listen, thanks again.
I can do that.
Yeah, the subway dancer.
Yeah, my favorite.
Me too.
Not me.
Actually, it looks like it's the Prodigy singer that is kind of trying to look cool on stage.
Well,
that thing is one of the things I hate the most in the entire game.
And you know what I'm going to tell you is, I remember I had one of my guys on the team, Kevin Dion, was working on it, and I came in to see how it was going because, like, when I saw the animation, I wasn't all that excited because I'm like, well, this is going to be hard to kind of sell because I found on one the guy's dressed kind of like futuristic, but yet he's doing these bad '80s moves.
But he's not even dressed futuristic.
Well, he's wearing like shorts.
I don't even know where that kid.
The point being is that he's doing '80s moves, but he's not dressed as an '80s guy.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was kind of like, well, what do we do? And when I walked in, Kevin had he had sort of gone with that '80s kind of, you know, like a boom box, like boom,
Yeah.
and it just didn't work. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, this is just, it's emphasizing everything that's wrong with it. And I said, you know what it needs? And I was just, and he shares a booth with Johan, and I said, and I was talking out loud, I said, this needs some messed up track that like makes no sense, is just chaos.
I agree.
I said, so that the guy just looks like some idiot going nuts to some
Because
stupid music.
That's a very good point, because that's the thing in video games, when you want to do something that's like when you want to represent something that's extremely cultural, like culturally based, like, you know, hip hop or breakdance or anything like that. It's just so, these things are so precise, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you're right, to have turned it into a really kind of weird, chaotic, that would have been a great solution.
Well, that's what we did. To end it quickly is that the other engineer in the room goes, well, I have this piece of music that I did with this drummer friend of his. And he called the guy up. He played it for me, and I said, that's perfect. That's what I want.
Well, you did it with the track, but the dance is still like...
No, I couldn't change the animation.
I know.
But I needed to get a music that tried to make it look
Yeah.
like we're trying to make this look crazy as
But
opposed to...
I think one of the key aspects is that if, for it to really work in the themes of the game, it should have been kind of this augmented kind of
I agree.
Yeah, free,
where
totally.
he's dancing and
Yeah.
using his augmentations in a very uncanny
I
way.
agree completely.
and
That
would
was
have been
the
totally awesome.
power of our game, and we didn't use it, you know. And as far as just real hip hop culture, like there's one game that did it really well with the breakdancing in the Metro. It's the Darkness, the first Darkness
Yes.
in the Metro. But to do this, like, you really need to know what you're
Darkness
quote unquote
is
talking
probably
about.
vocab too.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
last thing I'll say is that's the fun thing, and sometimes not so fun thing about being in audio, is that it arrives at your desk and it's finished, and you're looking at it going, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
Because if I just do the bare minimum of making it functional, it's going to fall flat because it's already half failing.
Right.
And at that point, us, we're all partying. and
Everybody's moved on to other things, which I understand, but it usually falls to us to try and find a way to spin it and make it at least feel a bit better. And for me, I was happy with where we ended up with it, considering the state it kind of came to me at.
Right.
I figured, you know, we did a pretty good compromise.
2027 and we're still arguing about the damn environment. When I was a kid, it was the big news. Global warming, rising ocean. It was already too late back then.
You watched the hockey game last night? Wins against the Habs. What a massacre.
Oh man, Eliza is so hot.
You're crazy. Is she?
So here's a billboard with Eliza on it, and that's pretty cool because one thing that we really wanted to do with Eliza, she was a bit of our poster child in the game for the cyber renaissance fashion. Like, they really push one because she's a personality. She's probably rich. She's on TV all the time, and these are the people usually that are kind of like at the forefront of fashion and whatnot, and all those trends. Things is that we could only afford one model for Eliza in the game, not because of memory, but because of, like, you know, time constraints and whatnot. So we had this idea that if we only have one model, then what we could do, because she's a personality, there's got to be ads and posters and marketing and stuff like that of her in the world. So why don't we portray some of her other costumes or clothes or whatnot through these things, instead of making, you know, other models. And that ended up working really well. And we also had to make sure that these things were positioned in almost like a choke point, so that the players,
it attracts your attention.
It attracts your attention, and players would see them and whatnot. So I think it was really clever that we came up with that idea. It was it made us save a lot of time and money, but it ended up giving the exact same result.
It worked. She attracted attention.
Awesome.
Sympathies and assure him that these attacks are in no way linked to humanity.
Don't know. I heard there was a demonstration at the Limb plant.
Yeah, we're in front of Wayne Haas, the lobby guy in the police station, and actually that was the first dialogue system that we nailed for the game. It was really capturing what we had in mind. We tried to go for a psychological gameplay,
and still the best one in my opinion.
Yeah, in terms of the realization and everything. And but it was really with this one that we really tried to make you believe that you're talking to a real person, and that you could really have an influence on what's going on and everything. And like you said, John, it was from an animation standpoint, this one is brilliant. You really see his expressions and how
that one is all
portrayed.
keyframed.
It's all keyframe, and it's the one that works. It works the best.
You just want to slap him. That's how good he is. You just want to like wake up. You like whisk, you know.
And actually, in the original, also the design of the conversation. You can see behind him there are some pills that are into a trash can or on the shelf. I can't remember, but. Originally, you were supposed into the game mechanic to be able to look around, and if you had the right augmentation, you would spot the blackmail item that you could use in the conversation.
Yeah, the original design for the special augment was much simpler than what we ended up with in the game, and it was just really like you could scan the environment and find a blackmail item, and you could then bring that up if you had the social log. And so we had written that one specifically to encapsulate that particular
Mechanic,
weakness in Wayne's background.
What
And-
were they, like anxiety pills or something?
Yeah, they were antidepressants because
It's
he's got such a bad life.
Well, we got to say that the actor, that was the first one, like you said, for the dialogue challenge, and obviously we had the pressure to find the right guy who was going to be able to help bring this to life. And again, like, God bless the stars that were shining on us, because this guy walked in and we fell in love. I forget his name, but we fell in love with him right away. And just over time, like, the guy, he brought Wayne really to life. That with the animations that were done, like you said. Again, another example of a really good fit of the visuals with the voice, the acting.
Yeah,
where
that's really true.
It all came together.
Totally fits, yeah.
And it worked out really well. And like, I mean, I think through the whole 3 years or 4 years of dev, we were always saying, referring to him as poor Wayne.
And
Poor,
what's
poor
really
Wayne.
funny about it, the acting was so good, is because Wayne was never supposed to be a very important character. I think in our blueprint we just said you have a discussion with the desk sergeant, and it was really no major character that we were having at
But it was
all.
so
And yet
good.
it was so good, and the animations worked so well, and the voice acting did that he became such a memorable character that we had to bring him back later in the game.
Yeah, and it's the first one that we presented to the press and to the people, so
We knew his lines by
we
heart.
saw it so many times that we were,
It was like a joke at the office.
Yeah,
We'd say his lines
All the time.
continuously.
And the one thing that I'm sure people do notice is that, of course, the recording and all that went on during like a 3-year process. So when Elias Tufexis, who plays Adam Jensen, came in, I mean, there's a certain evolution over time that takes place organically of trying to find the character.
When an actor gets into his role
Yeah.
over time,
Once he
changes
found the
it.
voice, we never had to like bring him back and say, "Oh, listen to this," and we think you're a bit different. But you can tell that he hadn't quite perfectly found it yet. And in fact, there was one line that bugged me for like 3 years, and we did a retake at the end where he really stepped out of his character, because we were still trying to define the box of, okay, well, when you get really angry, this is how angry you get. And we were trying to define that and saying, well, think of Jensen more as a Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood never really yells, but you can tell when he's really pissed just through the sort of grimace in the voice, And he really took that to heart. And I remember he came back, he goes, I watched Unforgiven for like 3 days, and he's like, I know exactly how I want to play it, because it was a very difficult scene for him, because he's got to be mad and sort of toy with them, and they have a history, but yet Jensen has to be, you're the hero, so you got to be calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
So it was quite challenging for him early on when he was still
He
trying
wanted
to find
to
the
redo it.
character.
Yeah, and he did actually. This was one of the first things he ever did. And 4 years later, as we're finishing recording, we had to do a retake for the sociologue, and he hurt himself and said, "Oh my God, that's horrible! I'll do it all over for free, I swear." But unfortunately, we couldn't. Too much was on it. So
now Elias Tufexis will work for free.